It's Sue from Snake River Stamping. Thank you for joining me this morning. I'm actually pre-recording this video because I have a doctor's appointment Monday morning. So hopefully I have it all scheduled and figured out how to make this appear on YouTube and Facebook both at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. And I will advertise that on my Facebook business page for everyone and show you what we're going to make today. I was wondering if you have ever layered stamps or inks to build a silhouette effect, because that's what we're going to do today. I'm wondering if you have experience doing that. We have a new stamp set that really lends itself to this technique that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and I really hope you like it. It's a really inexpensive way to get into this, and because you just need this one stamp set and some paper and some ink, and it turns out really pretty. I do have a few announcements to make. I'm going to turn the camera down real quick, make those, and we will get on with things. It is July. Today is July 7th, and just want to remind you, I've changed my specials a little bit this month. As usual, for $20 or more, starting at $20, you start earning your own Stampin' Rewards, and it accrues in the, oh, my camera's crooked, there we go. It accrues in your account, and you can see it in that account whenever you go into your online account. And while I'm speaking about your online account, that reminds me, they've changed the catalog ordering thing. We're going to have a new September to December catalog coming out in September. It will include fall things, Halloween things, and it will include Christmas things I haven't seen them yet, but I know it'll be pretty. But anyway, for me to send you a catalog, to pick your name and send it, I just used to be able to go through my customers and check, and send catalogs that I wanted to send to people. Now you have to have an online account, and you have to have ordered from me for me to be able to send you a catalog. Now I can order catalogs and have them sent to me, and then I send it to you, but it costs way more. It costs like twice as much for me to do it that way than it does for Stampin' Up to send you directly a catalog. So I need you to have a Stampin' Up online account, and I need to be picked as your demonstrator, which I really, really appreciate you doing that, picking me. And I will be able to go in and then send you a catalog in September so that you will have it and be able to order those wonderful holiday things that you probably already are thinking about. I need to start thinking about Christmas here pretty quick. If you need help setting up an account, I can do that. I can help you with it, but you have to finish it because there's some information in there that I'm not allowed to have access to, like your credit card information. I don't have access to any of that. So you would have to finish it, but I can help you start it, and we could talk on the phone. I can talk you through it. I can even start it on the computer by putting in your name and address and your email for you to get it started, and you can go in and finish it. But you do need to have that online account now so that I can send you a catalog. So if you would please take care of that before September. Well, actually, you need to take care of that before July 31st, because our catalog picking time is only open to me until July 31st. So you can't wait till September and think, oh, I'll do it now. No, you have to do it before July 31st. So today, when you're seeing this recording, is July 7th. So, time's clicking by. I hope you decide to do that pretty soon. Okay, back to my specials. $40 order. You get my card kits for this month. And on June 23rd, I demonstrated these card kits. And you're going to get kits to make 2 of these cards. you'll get 4 cards altogether. Now, if you want to stamp stuff on yours, I'll send you the paper to stamp and cut it out yourself. I can die cut stuff like on this card, and it's very similar to this card, as you can see. It's just I did all the die cutting, but here I did stamping and die cutting with impressions of bloom. So I can cut it all out for you, and you can make a very similar card. I love this set. It really does make it looks really pretty stamped and die cut. And I'll send you some gems too. I forgot to put some on this one, but I'll send you some gems, and I'll cut all the other stuff out, the paper and everything. So you can make 2 of those, and you'll make 2 with a kintsugi, and you'll get some cutout things to put on the front of your kintsugi cards. So you get 2 impressions of bloom, and you'll get 2 kintsugi cards. Those are my card kits for July. And you get your Stampin' Rewards. For a $50 order, you get the card kits I've already mentioned, plus an entire package of gems. And I still have a lot of these strawberry slush gems. I will be sending you a completely brand new package. I've used some of these, but they're the strawberry slush gems and Pretty in Pink, which I used tonight on one of my examples. And you get your Stampin' Rewards for your $60 order. And remember, that's $60 before tax, before shipping, before Stampin' Rewards or any of those things. It's $60. You get the card kits, you get the gems, and you get my new PDF. I have a new July PDF. I will send you not only the written PDF, but I have an unlisted video link that goes with it, where I explain it and all the alternates that I made to go with it. So that's what you get for $60 or more order, plus of course your Stampin' Rewards. So I hope that you will decide to order from me this month, and I hope that you will pick me as your demonstrator. My name is Sue Turner once again, and my links are below if you're on YouTube, and they're above me if you are on Facebook. And you can just go directly to my store and pick me, and I will get that information. You make your online account, and I will send you a catalog. But I do need that information by July 31st so I can send my catalogs. That's the date, my drop date that I have to be able to do that. So thank you for that. Don't forget Paper Pumpkin. This is the July Paper Pumpkin that will be coming at the end of this month. And as long as you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin by July 10th, you will get the July Paper Pumpkin. And it looks really cool with all these strawberries and everything. I can't wait to see this one. And this page just shows you a little bit. The July is the strawberries, August is farmhouse florals, and September is fall for toile. And it also, you can order, if you want to, the extra, I think they're $12 for the extra dies that go with all 3 of these sets. All of this will match all 3 of those sets. Okay. And also, for scrapbookers, don't forget, July 16th to the 18th, which is coming up pretty quick. They're going to have a virtual album retreat. Now, if you can't make it on those dates, it's okay. As long as you purchase this retreat box, and it's quite a sizable box with a lot of stuff in it. And I know it's expensive, but if you're really into it, it's 12 months of scrapbooking. Okay. It has 2 pages for every month and all the stuff that goes with it for each month. And you can, they'll send you the link, and you can watch it anytime, and you can watch it over and over again, you know, back it up, stop it, whatever. And so it's really pretty convenient to do that. So those are my announcements today. And I promised you that today we would be drawing, and I have all my people, let's see, and I have, there it is, right there on top, this embossing folder, the Pressed Flowers embossing folder. I offered to give this away if you did a minimum of a $60 order by June 30th, so I had a few people that did that. It could be more than $60, it had to be a minimum of $60. And so I'm going to send this folder to someone this weekend. And I didn't have that many entries, as you can see. I just had a few. So everybody that entered, that did the $60, is going to get something in the mail, okay? So as long as your name's in here, you will get something. And then one person will get this folder. So we're going to draw right now. And mix these up really good. Oh my gosh. Look at this, babe. People are going to think I am favoring you or something. She won my last drawing. I can't believe this. It's so funny. Babe, you just won the embossing folder. Congratulations. I'm going to tape your name on here, and I will get this in the mail. I have your address because I send you stuff all the time, babe. And you other people, you're gonna get some gems or something in the mail from me too, for entering this month. I really appreciate your support. And babe, I especially appreciate your support. You're just a really great customer, and I'm glad you won again. And so I'll be sending this to you very soon. You can look for that in the mail. Okay. So on we go with making cards. We are going to make a card something like this today. We're going to use these colors today, and we're going to be using silhouettes stamps. And like I told you, this Prairie Grass, this is an online exclusive. I have it linked in my information, and you can just tap on that link and it'll take you right to it. And this is just a stamp set, okay? Just a stamp set. There are these nice willowy reeds and things, and mostly these sentiments in here are kind of leaning towards sympathy, or saying you're sorry for something. Says sometimes life is just hard. You're not alone. I'm here for you. So very sorry. Sending the healing power of love, and my shoulder is yours. And I love it when they mix fonts, when they have some cursive-y and then some printed. I think that looks really nice. So I like this set a lot. I've been working on this for a couple days, and I have quite a few examples to show you besides the one I'm going to do for you tonight, to show you how to do this. And we're going to do some ink blending and some stamping, and I think you'll like it. Okay, as you can tell from just looking at this card, I had some templates, and I had watched people do this before, and some people use like copy paper to make their templates, you know, and because they could see through them a little bit, but I couldn't see through them very well. So I kind of, you know, you can do that. And I use mostly everyday arches is what I liked, but I did do some other shapes I'm going to share with you. So then I tried using those clear plastic sheets, those acetate sheets that we have. You can buy them, or you know what, when you get a stamp set, there's usually those plastic acetate sheets in there, and that's what I used. I always save them. I have a little envelope over there, and I just keep putting them in there whenever I need acetate sheets. That's usually what I use, unless you need a really big one, because they do come 12 by 12. We sell them that way, but I just use the ones that come in my stamp sets, because I usually find it easier to adhere my stamps just directly on the back of the stamp case, and I can see on the front what's there. I can flip it over and see what's there, and then I don't have stuff flopping around and falling out. So that's what I do, you know. That's what I do with mine. So I have a lot of these acetates, but then I tried it with the acetate sheets, and even though I taped it down, it would still kind of slip and slide, and I had trouble with that. So I sort of like the acetate because I could see through it, you know, and I did circles and I did all sorts of things, you know, with that, but didn't love it. But what I did like better was, for my templates, using vellum. Now, we don't sell vellum, just plain vellum. We have some vellum, but it's printed and it's fancy vellum and kind of expensive. But you can buy vellum. You can buy it online from Amazon. You can buy it from Simon Says Stamp. You can buy it at your local craft store. You can buy vellum. Get a heavier. Mine's a little heavy, so it's strong enough. It'll stand up to what I'm going to use it for, to make a template here to make my cards, and I can see through it. I can easily see through it and make sure, pretty sure, that I'm squared up, because that was my problem with using the copy papers. I couldn't see through it if I used a white piece of paper first, and that's usually what I found I liked. I mean, I did use some other, I'm going to show you in a minute after I get this one, but with this one, it worked better for me to use the vellum. So this one I used two pieces. I used a smaller one. In fact, I used this one. I placed this one on here so I would have white underneath so I could stamp it. And I had a full piece of white paper. And I just did stripy lines with my blending brushes and my ink, which I'm going to demonstrate in just a moment. And then I took this away, and I could stamp my willows here, and I stamped my message, my sentiment at the bottom. And then I took again my everyday arches, which is like one of the most handy sets I think I've ever had for cutting. These arches, they have 10 different arches in these, and I've linked those below too. They come as a bundle if you would like. I linked just the dies in case you just want the dies. Now, if you want the stamp set too, you know, you can get the stamp set also. So I'm going to be using this one today to make a card on this one. It's going to be a little bit different than this one. I used two of them here, like I just said. I used the small one to blank out a white space, and then so I could color the background. But I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So this is the inside. So I cut out, I cut 3 on this one. I cut half sheets, and this one was the middle size one, and I cut 3 different sizes that I could use. So I have the middles, and I have these templates too to color. So I have all these pieces and parts of all of these in vellum, and I use this oval, I use circles. The oval was from Impressions of Bloom, and I linked that too, I think. So I'm going to show you today how to make one of these cards. It's going to be a little bit simpler than that one. I'm going to put those down there so they don't get in the way. Now for me, I am going to use similar colors, so I am going to use a Cajun Craze card base. And one of the things I was doing when I was trying to decide on my colors is I have a color wheel that we sell, and one of the colors I wanted to use was pumpkin pie. It was right here, and I wanted to know the colors that go with pumpkin pie that are analogous, and that means they go with it and kind of match it. And right next to pumpkin pie, surprisingly to me, was Cajun Craze, pecan pie, crushed curry, daffodil delight. And so those are some of the colors that I picked. I picked daffodil delight, pumpkin pie, pecan pie, and then Cajun Craze, and then I made my background Cajun Craze. I'm going to do very similar choices for today's card using these colors on my color wheel. And you can turn this anyway. Pick your main color that you want and find out what the analogous colors are. You can find the triadic colors that go with it. You can find the complementary colors that go with it. You know, these color wheels are just like super easy to use, and they help you, you know, pick your colors. You just pick your main color. Like I said, I was picking pumpkin pie as my main one, and then I looked around it for my analogous colors. Okay, enough of that. So my card base, Cajun Craze card base, and you can do any colors you want. I'm going to show you a lot of other colors in just a moment. It was 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 5 1/2, so it would be in half. My inside, I used textured notes. I used the second largest die on basic white. It was 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. I mean, you can just cut a piece, whatever, that's going to go on the inside. Okay, but since I'm using a dark color, I definitely want a light color on the inside. And then my piece on the outside is 4 by 5 1/4, which is just a little bit smaller than my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's definitely going to be smaller. And I'm not sure yet if I'm going to cut this out or just leave it square. I'm going to go with the flow here. Now, when I did cut this out, I placed it on here, and I have a grid pattern on here on my paper and on my glass mat, and I placed it straight, and I put the die on here on straight, and I put a little pencil line to make it sure I could line it up and make it as straight as possible, because when I put it on here, I don't want to have it crooked. I want it to be straight, and I can, like I said, you can see through this paper and see how you're placing it. So one of the things I do is I put my paper down, and I'm going to tape my corners kind of out of the way here, because I don't want to get those in. I don't want to get those in. So see, I can see that, and I'm going to move this down, and I'm also going to tape this down. I'm getting it straight. I'm lining it up with my lines. I'm looking at my bottom here, and hopefully I'm going to do something straight. So I have brand new brushes, but I haven't broken them out yet, so I'm going to use my old brushes today. So I'm going to start with, well, I need to bring in, it's important, you can do it on, you know, if you have a paper. Yeah, this is Cajun Craze. Okay. So I'm going to start with, I think I've got pecan pie, Cajun Craze, pumpkin pie, and daffodil delight. Now you can do crushed curry. It's just not as bright as daffodil delight. I like the brightness in daffodil delight. So that's what I used on that one. And I have my pecan pie. I have my daffodil delight brush. I think maybe this is, that's probably Cajun Craze, and this is pumpkin pie. There we go. Now I have them correctly done. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom of this, and I've decided to use this outline where I cut it out. So everything around it's going to be white, and I still might cut it out. I don't know. I'm gonna see what I think when I get it done. I do think I'm going to start with a little pumpkin pie, or excuse me, pecan pie at the bottom, and I always brush it off a little bit because I don't want it full strength. And I'm just going to start in circles. You notice I'm making circles. I'm not pressing real hard. I don't want it full strength because I can add but I can't subtract. And then you can see that I have a nice border around there. Okay, that's probably enough pumpkin pie. Okay, now I'm going to use my Cajun Craze. And I'm going to come in here and I want to blend. And again, I'm doing circles and I'm blending it kind of down into that pumpkin pie and a little bit by itself. And it doesn't take much, as you can see. It does not take much. And when you shut your cases, you want to hear that snap where they're not completely shut. Then I'm going to go to pumpkin pie. Seems to be nice and closed. Get some on my pumpkin pie brush. You can see how intense that is. I want to make it a little less intense. In fact, I'm going to pick some color up over here off my scratch paper. Okay. Ugh, I got 2 blobs there. How did I get that? Try to get those off there. Okay, and then my last color at the top is going to be the Daffodil Delight. And this is the brightest, lightest color. And this is just a piece of copy paper cut in half. I'm thinking there might have been something on that brush that made those marks. Dang it. And I do want that a little bit more bright. So these are not complicated cards because basically it's stamped ink and paper. I'm going to add some gems. I might pop it up because, you know, I do like that. So that's my blending. Pecan pie, Cajun Craze, pumpkin pie, Daffodil Delight. So this is a warm, these are warm colors, and I do have other cards with cooler colors, blues, and even a pink one that I think you'll like. So that, I am now done with this. And this will dry and I can use it again. You can use, the vellum is pretty strong and you can use it several times. So now, since I'm doing silhouettes, I'm going to be stamping in black. And for this card, I'm picking the biggest one. Okay. And I found out these are rubber stamps, not photopolymer. And I was catching edges when I was hand stamping these. So I am going to bring in my Misty to get this stamped as nicely as I can. And when you're doing a photopolymer stamp, you leave the foam pad in because you'll need that. But when you're doing a rubber stamp, a red rubber stamp, you don't need that pad. In fact, you need to take it out or it'll be the wrong way. So I'm just trying to place my magnets so they won't interfere with the stamp. And I'm going to place it a little bit over because I want to put words right there. So I bring in my Memento Tuxedo Black. Remember, I buy the white pad that doesn't have any ink. If you order the white pad, it's not inked. The white ink comes separate. So I just ordered 2 white pads when I ordered it. And I put Memento Black ink on one of my pads because it works so much better than the linen pad that comes with the Memento Black ink. It's really much more effective. And you can see, even though I'm putting this ink on carefully, see how I'm catching those edges? And that's what was causing me a problem when I was hand stamping. Even though I was wiping them off, I was still getting slight edges. But I should not get any edges at all when I use this. And I use my pressure tool. I got this at Amazon also, so that I can press down pretty evenly. And see, I know edges. Even though there's edges over here, even though I can see that I've got edges, I don't catch them. So I'm going to do it one more time, just to make it nice and dark. Oh, that looks great. Great, great, great. It's just what I wanted. Just think it just looks really striking with blended ink blending and everything. Looks really good. And I found my my little wiping off thing. What is this? It's one of those. Oh, it has a certain word. I can't remember, but it doesn't have any lint on it. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure you're yelling at me right now, telling me this is what it's called. Anyway, so I'm going to put that back in there, and you can put any greeting on these that you feel like putting on them. I am going to grab something I found a happy birthday. This is on an old set. This is translation. I was looking for a happy birthday that wasn't long and skinny. I needed a happy birthday, and this is a rubber stamp also, but I needed it to be stacked like that. So I found one in an old set. So that's what I'm going to use, because I didn't, even though this card really does lend itself to all these, you know, you're not alone, I'm here for you, and so very sorry type of things. I mean, that could be a lot of things, like if someone that's facing an illness or whatever, it could be a lot of things. But I'm just going to make this one happy birthday. My son-in-law has a birthday coming up, and it's always a challenge to think of something different for him every year. And he always laughs at me. He goes, "Oh, you did it again." I go, "That's right, I did do it again." So maybe one more little dab on there. You could make these thank you cards. They could be just about anything. There we go. Microfiber cloth. That's what this is. It is a microfiber cloth. They do not have lint, and you just get them wet, and they stay wet for quite a while. So that's really, really nice. So now I'm going to put my foam stuff back in here, because if I don't, I lose track of it. And I love it. Isn't that pretty? I think it's really pretty. So this can go in here. Now I have this die, because you know I already cut it out. So I could cut this out, and then there would be more Cajun Craze showing. So I don't know, let's see. Because I'm also going to emboss it, which looks pretty good. Let me see which one of these. I think it's this one. This one? Yeah. Okay. So I am going to emboss, and I'm going to cut. And once again, I am going to tape this down, because I don't want it to move. And I do have my cut and emboss machine right here beside me, not on this table, because it makes this table shake so much. Makes everybody sick to their stomach and all that. So I'm just going to show you the sandwich, because the sandwich is different for cutting and for embossing. So to just use a die cut, you need your base plate, It's your number 3 plate. You need a number 2 plate. Mine are really getting in bad shape. You need a number, no, this is a number 1 plate, number 2 plate. This is a number 3 plate that I'm going to put this on. And if when you have something, lucky enough to have something on a curve, put the curve going in first, and then I have my another number 3 plate to go through here. So I'm just going to go to the side here, and I put a leading edge on that top. You'll hear a snap when it hits that end. So this is looking good, but we're going to make it look a little bit better. So there it is. It cut off a little bit of the top, but that's okay. It still looks really good. So now I'm going to take, you can use whatever embossing folder you have, you like. This is a 3D folder. It's an older one. I think it was crosshatch. See, I didn't want like big flower embossing on here. I just want a little pattern, and that's what this one is a little pattern. And so I want that like that. Put it in there as square as I can. You don't usually have to tape it, but because it's 3D, all you need is the number 1, and you need the embossing plate for the top. It's number 4, and you just place that on there, and you send that through your cut and emboss machine, and it will do a nice job of embossing for you. And I'll show you that up close. So I used that crosshatch, and now you can see, I hope you can see those little cross hatches in there? It just adds a little dimension to my card that I really like. This goes in here. Sue's trying not to lose things today. So now I can bring in my card base. Okay, I'm going to set this inside to the side for just a moment. And I'm going to pop this up on some dimensionals. Yeah, I just opened some new ones the other day. And I'm going to pop those up. So you see this card, I mean, I am putting some other stuff on it, but my sentiment's not separate, it's directly on the card, which is nice. But I am going to put some gems on it, and I'm going to show you a great package of gems. I do have them linked below that go great with this, because we stamped in black. Okay, I got all of them. So now it's a matter of centering, putting it on. Okay. So the gems that I picked are these. They're called adhesive back sparkle gems, and I linked those below. But you see how they have brown ones, which would look good, but the black ones look really good because of this black. So I've got some in this little envelope, and I just take some off. I slide them off, and I kind of just place some. I've got some small ones and some large ones. I might have to use my take your pick tool with my sticky ends to get these off. Place one there. Let's see, maybe I'll place one over here. Okay. All right. So that as simple as that. It's making the card. Ink blending with your brushes and your inks. And I did try stamping in other colors besides black, but I ended up liking black the best. I just found that that was my favorite because it was a silhouette card. So on the inside that I've already cut, I would stamp one of these smaller reeds on the inside before I tape it in, and I'm just going to leave that for now, and I'm going to show you some other ones that I did that with. But I would stamp some smaller ones, even maybe to the side, not the whole thing. Maybe I would stamp a sentiment in there, maybe I wouldn't. It just kind of depends. I like to leave my cards a lot of times so that they are as I don't want to say neutral, but just useful to me, that I can turn them into whatever I need, you know. So I might not stamp even the happy, but I always need birthday cards. So the happy birthday right now, like I said, for my son-in-law, this would be a good card because he's not into foo-foo, but I don't think the gems are going to bother him because they're black, you know. But and then the inside. So anyway, I'm going to share with you some other examples of how I did this. Of course, this one that I showed you at first, and I did it real similar to this, except I taped on that white, or that piece, that smaller piece, and stamped it on white, which I think, you know, gives you a totally different look. Very similar. I made it a thank you card, but it's very, very similar in nature with that. Okay. So I already have, I did it in Misty Moonlight, which I liked, and I stamped in Misty Moonlight, but this was the one where I discovered I needed a stacked birthday, you know, happy and birthday below it, because this kind of happy birthday kind of runs into the weeds here, and you can't really, you know, see it as well. But I just used 2 colors of blending on this one, and I didn't cut it out. I left it on the square, you know, but I did the same method I just showed you with the template on top, and I just used Pecan Pie and Misty Moonlight, and then I stamped in Misty Moonlight, and I didn't put anything on the inside of that one yet. Okay, this is another one where I didn't cut it out, and I didn't get this centered. My card moved because I didn't use my magnets. I thought I could just stamp, and well, I was wrong, because it moved, and my sending the healing power of love should have been lower, you know. This one I used some cloud cover, which is one of our new colors, and I stamped in again, and then no, I think I did black, and I just stamped part of those willows and then glued that in for my inside. But this one I was using, I'm pretty sure I just used Pumpkin Pie and Daffodil Delight on that one. I don't think I used any Cajun Craze. This one is another one where I had Misty Moonlight as my base, and I had it go in the other direction, you know, where it's 8.5 by 5.5, and I used the white, and I used the circle. I had a circle cut out in one of them, and they're on the floor, so I think I can't find it right now, but anyway, I had a circle that I cut out of stylish shapes in my template, just like I had my other template, and I did the same thing with Pecan Pie and the Misty Moonlight, and I used, since that was a smaller space, I used this really small reeds on that one. But again, I did stamp that in black, but I stamped thanks with Misty Moonlight, and I used another really old embossing folder that had these little leaves all over it that I thought looked kind of cool, you know, because it's kind of nature-ish type of thing. So I like it with the circle. I thought that was kind of cute. And this one I did the oval, from Impressions of Bloom, and maybe you've already ordered that. I did link the dies for the Impressions of Bloom. I just used that die, and that's the only thing I used out of this folder. Because I cut out the shape and set it on my card, and then I blended with Basic Beige and Crumb Cake, and I don't know if you can tell, but Basic Beige, that's the second one. I did Crumb Cake down here, Basic Beige. It has a little bit of green in it, and I didn't really realize it until I put it on this white paper against these other colors, that it had a little bit of green in it. And then I did pink on the top. I did Pretty in Pink because I wanted it to be like a sunrise instead of a sunset-ish colors. So I used the Pretty in Pink. And then since it was such a it was smaller than my arch, I just didn't try to get my bushes inside completely. I stamped them in the corner, let them kind of drift in there. And I put You've Been on My Mind. It was from another stamp set. And I used my, since it was Pretty in Pink, these gems that I'm sending out. These are Strawberry Slush, but these are Pretty in Pink in the middle. And so I put Pretty in Pink on there. And I thought that looked nice. I don't think I put anything on the inside. And this one was really interesting because I thought, okay, what if I don't do ink blending? What else can I use in the background that might look kind of good? And I want it to be neutral so it doesn't take away from my focal point, you know, of the prairie grasses. And curiously enough, I looked in my otter paper, my awesome autumn paper, otter paper, and on the back of this pattern with the little otters is this gray, and it went really, really well. I really liked this one. I was again able to use my black dots. I stamped in black. I did that same Happy Birthday. I cut this out with textured notes, just a little bit smaller than my card base. This was 4.5 by 11, 4.25 by 11. And then I did that same inside, and then I put the small grasses inside. But I didn't stamp anything in there. But I liked the way that turned out too, even though I didn't do the ink blending thing. Just using, you know, look through your paper, because almost always on our pattern paper there'll be something, you know, real bright decorative on one side, and the other side will be more neutral. So that's all I did, was look through my paper. I was looking through on the backs for something neutral that would go with these grasses, and that's what I found, and I really liked it. So those are my examples. Let me get my inks out of the way. And you can see that you can use a lot of different things with this method, this technique. I mean, I've seen this done for years in many different ways, but I just thought, wow, this Prairie Grass folder really, really lends itself to doing something like this. And so I really had a good time making these cards. You can tell that I like warm colors, you know. Yeah, I mean, I do like blues and greens too and everything, but I kind of tend towards these colors when I'm making things, if I have a choice. So anyway, so that's my card class today. Those all those products are linked, and the measurements were really, really simple. I had a card base that was 4.25 by 11, and I scored it at 5.5. My inside I cut from textured notes, 3.25 by 4 3/4, and my outside was 4 by 5.25, and that was it to make all these cards. And so I hope that maybe you would want to get yourself the prairie grass and see what you could do with it and the kind of cards you could make, because I think it just, you know, it could be on any kind of card, an all occasion card, and the colors and everything are up to you. And let me turn the camera up. There we go. Okay, so thank you for watching me today. Don't forget all that information I gave you at the beginning about making sure you have your online account so I can send you a catalog. I do need that information by July 31st so I can do the catalog picking thing. If you need help making an online account, my information is below or above, and you can call me, you can text me, you can email me, whatever's convenient for you, and I would be glad to help you with that. So thank you very much for watching me today. Thank you for your support, and babe, congratulations on winning again. You are one lucky duck. All right, we'll see you guys next time.